Okay.
Wait, did it really take a picture?
Hello.
But is it recording?
Yeah, it's recording.
No, it's not. How do you know it's recording?
It's freaking recording.
How do you, before, I want to know to make sure that it's recording.
You see those little numbers on the bottom?
Oh, it's recording.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go for it.
All right, here we go.
Now we're in
episode 3. Episode 3 of Dorian Destinations Podcast. The place where you need to be to know anything and everything about travel.
I'm Shannon.
And I am Franco. Welcome to our third episode. Hopefully the two that watched the first two
Are watching again.
are watching again.
Maybe they told one other person.
Maybe,
So then
hopefully.
maybe
like
we-
their grandmother that's deaf. So now that let's get started in episode 3 because I think we have some pretty good stuff. Just to recap what we have this episode. We're going to do the myths and facts about purchasing in Italy, a home in Italy, which we actually did. So we have firsthand knowledge on that. Second episode, just to keep the Italian vibes going, we have a bottle from Tuscany, which you guys need to know about. And lastly, the third segment is
The
about...
best place to live for expats in Europe.
That's right. There you go, Mama.
Yeah.
All right. So why don't we start us off?
I'm going to take off because this is something that's been passionate and near and dear to my heart for many, 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 many years. And that is about purchasing a house in Europe, specifically Italy. And I have to say, I think this is what kind of started our podcast because everybody we talk to and meet want to know the information and how we did it. So I think this is like a good one. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
this hits right at home. No pun intended. No, didn't
there's
work
no
on this
fireworks
one.
today.
All right, so let's get into it because I know this is something that we have a lot of
We
information
have a lot of
on.
information. Let's
So
go.
myth number 1: you have to be a millionaire
Mm-hmm.
to purchase in Italy.
Nope, you do not.
We're not millionaires.
No, we're not.
No.
No. And prior to me being a travel agent, I was a school teacher for 20 years, so it's definitely not a millionaire.
Yeah, actually, it's very affordable, and especially compared to U.S. home rates. The market has skyrocketed in prices in the United States. It's very difficult to purchase in the United States. What's great about Italy is that they maintain why is it
I don't know,
the
but
thumb?
I liked it. It was
Oh
to
my
me.
Lord, the people can't see. There's a thumb in our AI camera. So basically the rates stay pretty consistent. Now, if you're in it to gain a lot of equity, we'll get into that. That's not the game for you.
When do we get into that? Like at what point? I don't see that in the notes.
But we'll talk about it.
Oh.
But anyway, so I think you don't have to. It's very affordable. I think that's the bottom line, right? And
Yeah,
even
I
interest
think
rates are low.
Oh my God, I
What
keep
is-
getting thumbs up.
I know.
So yeah, no, it is affordable. So that's a good myth. That I think a lot of people think like, oh, you have a house over there, like, oh my gosh, but it was very affordable. What's the other one? I can't remember.
And I think that the affordability, though, is just to tap on that, is always look for places that are not hotspots, right? So if you go into Rome, the heart of Rome, Florence, all that, yes,
Milan.
you're going to get maybe U.S. prices. But if you go to where we purchase, which is Vicenza,
Just don't tell anybody. I don't want anybody to live there.
you're right. Retract that. Basically, it's a beautiful little town, but it's not a hotspot for tourism. And what you could get there, you're gonna get more bang for your buck, right?
Right.
So
myth 2 is about being a citizen. That you have to be a citizen to buy a home, and no, that is a myth. As a matter of fact, it's actually easier to buy a house than to buy a car. I do have my citizenship, but we did not use it to purchase our home, which I think we'll get to in a reason why after we go through the myths and how we, right? Is that what's on the schedule? So
yeah,
I'm assuming
it's on the schedule. It's myth 2 is basically, is it impossible? You have to be a citizen. No, I'm not a citizen. Shannon has the EU, but through Ireland. But we didn't even use that.
We didn't use it.
Yeah, we used basically me. So
we had to go in with the same nationality.
Yeah.
So either I could have bought it under my citizenship, or We had to buy it both as Americans, and we chose that option. And we'll tell you the difference, right? And are we going to explain that?
Yeah.
We'll explain what the difference was in a second.
Yes.
And then the last one is Myth 3, and that's, what does it say? What did you put this thing on there?
Is it too
complicated legally? No, I mean, is it complicated? It could be, but if you hire a lawyer,
Yes.
an Italian lawyer,
which I want to do a little shout out right now.
Yes,
to
our Italian real estate lawyers. That's
Best.
exactly who they are. They are the Italian real estate
like that's
lawyers.
their name.
They have their own podcast, by the way.
Yeah, which we're gonna tag.
That's how we found them.
Yeah, we're gonna tag them in everywhere we post this because
they're amazing.
We completely love them.
Yeah.
They made it easy. If we didn't go through them, I think that myth would be
have been complicated.
a real fact. That myth, it would have been complicated because we don't know. We don't know the legalities of it. Those, there's a lot of nuances.
The language.
Yeah.
Even any law, verbiage and language is going to be complicated. Imagine being in another language. And we don't have the rules and regulations here in the States as if they do abroad, which we'll get into, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah,
right?
I mean, we're just going to break it down. We just wanted to break down the myths. And so that's that. So, again, please, Italian real estate lawyers, we're going to tag them. Look at it in the captions, down below. If you need their contact, please leave us a comment. Send us a message, and we'll get in contact with them. They are amazing.
Yeah.
But I think, so just to kind of recap our experience, we were terrified, right? We wanted to make a right choice. We're not millionaires, we're not rich, but we did have some capital, and we wanted to invest and wanted to do it the right way.
And we wanted to make sure we did it the right way. We had been looking prior pandemic, but then during pandemic, we had a lot of time. And so that's when we decided to make the move. Originally, we had another town that we were dead set on. And then when we actually went and to look at the homes, we realized this wasn't the town that we wanted anymore. So what had happened was we decided to contact the Italian real estate lawyers. That's actually who they are. That's their name. And they work with specifically expats to buy and purchase homes abroad. And so we found them. The price that they gave us was amazing. It was a flat rate, and we couldn't have asked for more. They do all the translations, but most importantly, what we loved about them, they said, here are these websites. One of them happened to be Immobiliare, IT, and the other one was, what is it? Oh, Idealistica. IT. Yeah, Idealistica. And you could do that also too in other parts of Europe. They're not just Italy. And so they said, find all the places you want, send them over to us, and then we're going to weed out the ones that are not going to be good for you guys. Meaning maybe they have a lien, maybe there is a lineage, which we found out, which that happened to us, that is attached to the home. And maybe some of them are not disclosing information, but the lawyers work directly with the property owners and their realtor so that we're not paying extra prices and or getting ripped off because we're Americans, right? Yeah. So that's why we went through with them. We sent them, I think, over I want to say like 80 maybe.
Yeah, it was a lot.
It was a lot. He would send like 20 a day. I would send like a 20 a day. Yeah. And then at the end of the week, they would send back. They had already gone through all the properties and sent back which ones were available and were worth even looking
us
at.
Considering it, yeah.
And then this is the scary part, because we're from the States where you see a property and you put a deposit on and you're like afraid that you're going to get outbidded or someone's going to buy it from underneath you. That was not the case. We started looking at properties, I want to say in the summer. September, we started making appointments, and I'm thinking, we're not going to be there until November. Like, these properties are going to be gone. Nope, we got to see, I think, like 25 or 30 different apartments and homes in Italy.
So on that note, though, I will say, because we did try doing it even without lawyers at one point after our first experience, and we were going to go back to using lawyers because it's just so much better. What's great about it is that when you search and you go through a real estate agent, they have competition with other real estate agents, and sometimes they don't want to share, the profits, right, or the percentage. Going through a lawyer what's great is that they contact the listing agent, and that listing agent is the only realtor on record. So there's no competition. I don't know if that makes sense, where they just deal with the lawyer. The lawyer doesn't get a percentage of the sale. They get the whole percentage. And thus, you're able to see and access more properties that you won't if you go just strictly through a real estate lawyer, estate agent. Sorry.
We were trying to purchase a second one, and we were doing it quick and what have you, and we tried to go just contacting a local agency, and they didn't want us to use our lawyer, and we didn't understand why, and we realized that they were adding more price and not allowing us to see the properties that we actually wanted to see, and so they were trying to pull a fast one. So go through your lawyers. It doesn't hurt to pay that extra fee for a peace of mind, right? Because this is an investment,
and that fee is not big.
It's not big
at all. And if you think about, again, I think actually the notary, what they call a notary, which is really almost like a loan agent, I guess.
They're kind of like a mediator to make sure. Mm-hmm. And they blatantly told us this the day of our signing of our house, saying, we want to make sure that the banks and that the person who's selling the house and the listing agent doesn't try to make it higher. So they're kind of like the middle person. So let's say, you were purchasing a house, somebody outbid you, but you already were given that price. Nobody can outbid you. And they purposely said that they control this so that there is no like what do they call it? Like the bus that we had with the big thing that we had with the houses and all that here.
Oh, the crash.
The big crash, right. Yeah. So they're saying that we control, so nobody can outbid. So if you're looking for an investment, like, I'm going to buy a house and I'm going to turn it over in 2 years and make X amount of money. This is not the place to do it.
And you can't use the equity which first of all, you're not going to get a lot of equity built up because the costs don't shoot up, because again, they try to protect the locals, right? Affordability, unlike here in the States, unfortunately. But also, you don't even have to be a citizen. You're able, if you have the financial backing, means
just like here.
Yeah, you're able to get a loan over there. But what's great is that 3% interest rates for those loans. So you put down 30% of the value of the home. They give you a loan for 70% at 3%. It's a steal. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And they don't work with equity. So if you don't have the money or the means, they just, they're all about making sure and protecting that it goes into foreclosures.
Yeah. So I think the best thing that we're going to do is probably mix it up, buy more property in Italy, obviously, because we love Italy and the ease of it. But I think maybe buying another one or two here in the States, because here we could play with equity, right? And we have a lot of equity we could reinvest in those properties down there.
So I want to say this really quick. The difference of being a citizen and not a citizen was only a percentage. So you only pay a one-time tax on the home, on the purchase of the home. So if I would have bought it with my EU, it would have only been 3% one-time tax on the home. But since we wanted to buy it together, we had to both come in as Americans, and it was a 9% one-time tax. We don't pay taxes on the home each year. We just pay
like the municipality tax and all that, which I think came out for our situation.
Like 400.
Yeah, it was nothing.
It goes by per person who's on the deed.
And we have, and also insurance. Right,
500 for the year.
500 euro a year. Again, we have a flat, right? We have an apartment, but I'm sure if you have a detached home,
two-story, it's big.
Yeah, so it's pretty big. So I think there's a lot of benefit, tax-wise, cost-wise, to really invest in Italy. And if you're going
but don't say it's good invest. It's like good, but you're not gonna get it's not like
investment if you want to purchase a home in Italy.
Right.
Yeah, if you want to live in Italy, it's awesome. It's great.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I'm saying. So and if you do, please go to the Italian real estate lawyers, because that's a plug. They're amazing and we love them, and they're going to be
talk to them. So
yeah, they're going to be our lawyers forever. So that was a great first segment. That was passionate. It was one of our longest first segments, but it's because we're passionate and we have a lot of information. Again, if you guys want more information on this, feel free to send us comments, send us a message, and we'll be more than happy to help you. That's what we're here, not only for travel, but for inspiration for you to live your best life as an expat. I think we're going to go transition to our next segment. No?
You think?
No, I think I know.
Oh.
I know. We're going to transfer to our second segment, which is
our vino, which is from Tuscany.
Yes, it's Tuscany,
We
and
kept
it's
the Italian vibe today.
yeah. So it's and pardon my pronunciation on this. Please, Italians.
I want to go for it.
This is gonna be bad.
This is good.
Brunello di Montalcino Wine. That is the grape.
Oh, he thumbs down.
Wow. So I'm getting reviewed in real time by AI. For those who didn't see this,
They don't see it?
well, I mean, if it's a podcast, babe, in
I know,
Spotify.
but if they're like, but if they're watching it,
If they're watching it, they see
can
it.
totally see it. But if you're listening, you would
Yes.
see it.
Okay. So back to what I was saying. Yes. So I'm getting real time reviews. Apparently, I'm a
wait,
loser.
loser.
Yeah. Anyways, so this wine is great because.
Show the bottle.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Here we go. This is the bottle.
But like twist it. Like there you go.
There you go. Beautiful.
Look, like how the influencers are like.
Yeah. Look, I'm doing an influencer pose, showing the bottle. Here we go. I'm gonna leave it right here. So basically, this wine is one of the best in Tuscany right now, and that actual what I tried to pronounce is really the grape.
Don't do it again. You're gonna get them.
Yeah, I'm gonna try it again. Brunello di Montalcino. No, bad. But that grape is actually known for the aging potential. So really, the peak flavor of this wine hits 10 years, a decade.
Oh, actually, it says. Do we have another one of these bottles?
Yes, we do. We have
So
several.
it says do not open until 2026. So we're not gonna open the next one until next year.
So yeah, we already killed this one.
Yeah, but then we know this for the next.
Okay.
Like, let's put a big label on it. 'Cause
Yeah,
you
we'll
may
do
drink
that.
it by
We'll do
accident.
that. So I just wanted to say that James Suckling awarded this vintage 92 points because of its bold taste. So I have to agree with it.
It is
one of
really
the
good.
best ones. Yeah, one of
Yeah.
the best ones from
Nice
Tuscany.
and heavy and.
Yeah, it's a good. I need a steak right now.
What? You look like you're gonna say
Here we
something.
go.
Oh, segment 3.
Here we go, people. Segment 3. Segment 3. Since
Okay.
we're on the tip on buying
Okay, so
expats.
So you know the talk these days. Everybody wants to move to another country. So we decided to pick the top 10 in Europe to move to. So oh my God, look. Okay, so Lisbon, Portugal. We actually know people that have had moved to Portugal.
Yeah,
it's
so-
affordable. Actually, I did hear recently that it's starting to go up a little bit
Because everybody's
because of all the expats. But yes, not to mention it's actually
and it's
really
also
pretty.
a good thing about Lisbon. It's for those digital nomads, people that work out of their laptops. It's very digital nomad friendly. So
Really?
yeah,
How do you know that?
because I did my research. I did my research.
That's not on my notes. See,
Well, don't worry, I have my different.
I know,
notes.
but you're trying to make you do more research, and then I don't.
But
have that.
I'm just trying
Right.
to look smarter
Right.
than you.
So then it makes me look like
But you don't look anything like you.
maybe
you,
not looking, but I sound like
You sound beautiful.
like
my
you
love.
have more information.
You sound okay.
than
I
do.
think we're digressing.
Okay, go.
We're digressing.
Mhm.
Okay, so
Once again, this podcast is all about Franco Interian.
in my sexy voice. All right. So number 2 on that list is Madrid, Spain.
Okay.
I think basically it's the culture, it's Madrid, it's Spain, it's the tapas, it's wine. Tapas. But I will say the economy is not so spiffy there. But so if you do have income,
if you for working there, like a local's working there.
yeah. But if you have income like from the States or something,
you
I mean,
work
yeah.
digitally, which actually we also know people that have moved to Spain. So that's
Go. What's yours?
Slovenia.
Yeah, this is weird. How do
I
you
didn't know.
pronounce that one?
I don't know how to.
Lijaban.
I don't want to ruin the. It's the town.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna try, and so I'm gonna try like I did the grape, and I'm Cuban, so sorry. So
You're gonna say it
it's a
with
Lijabawana, Lijabawana,
Maybe it's Jana
Lijaban.
because
Okay.
it's not a double L.
Okay, well, this is a gem alert, right? Because it's green, walkable, and super charming.
So I have to be honest. I know a lot about Europe, but not much about Slovenia. So I'm actually now going to research this one.
Okay, well,
And then of course, Bologna.
so that's my baby right there. I
That's
love
because he
Bologna.
likes to eat all day.
Yeah, it is the pinnacle of the culinary belt in Italy. So
Yes,
yeah,
which we did. We did a nice little drive.
I still haven't gone.
We did all the other culinary belt area. We didn't make it to Bologna, but It is absolutely stunning in that area. The Netherlands. I actually have a friend that moved to the Netherlands a few years ago. They were only going to go for a couple years. I'm talking about pre-pandemic. And her husband had a job there, so they went. She thought she was only going to be there for a couple years, and she fell in love. Her kids are thriving. She's amazing, and I'm envious because the Netherlands is pretty close to the center of Europe. So she's in different countries like on the weekends. So
Nice.
so that's pretty cool. I can see the Netherlands. This says specifically Amsterdam, which is also a cool town. So.
Yeah, a lot of psychedelic progressive stuff.
This one's cool.
Berlin.
Yeah, that's our name of our daughter.
Yeah, so I'm happy.
glad Berlin has gotten that
That vibe, yeah.
Yeah,
I think
after
it's
having a
diverse. No, we
negativity.
didn't call you, my love. We didn't call you.
she came
We're talking
out.
about
She
Berlin as a
heard her
city.
name. That's
as
funny.
a city. Yeah, it's diverse, artsy, and always evolving, just like our daughter.
So Athens, Greece, same thing with Spain. The economy went down a little bit, so I'm sure it's super affordable, not to mention how beautiful your landscape is. So Athens is a really big one. And then actually Malta, which we were talking about
in the last episode.
In episode 2.
Yeah.
And that's like an island off of Italy as well. It's like in between.
Yeah.
And so it's down.
And it's safe.
Yeah.
Which that's
No,
what we
safe
talked
from
like natural disasters. Yeah. So which is fantastic.
Ooh.
You want to try to pronounce this one?
That's Dubrovnik.
Wow, you did so well.
Well, I've been there. In Croatia. I was there before the Games of Thrones vibe. I was there 20 years ago. And I love Croatia. I loved it then, and so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And once again, I'm sure it's because the economy, it's good to live there.
Yeah.
And then this one, as much as I would love to live there, I'm not really feeling the weather. So
Yeah.
you want to tell everybody what that
Yeah,
one is?
and again, I'm going to kill the pronunciation. It's Reykjavik, Iceland. It's a cool climate, cooler lifestyle, and great nature.
Yeah, lots of hiking
lovers.
and
Yeah.
nature. So it is stunning if you're up for that weather.
But
So
what's
those
great-
are the top 10.
Yeah, what's great about this list, and by the way, we got this list, and I just want to give a shout out from Cecilia Rodriguez in Forbes. She broke this down, and I thought it was pretty diverse, which I loved. Different places that, for different people, right? For different expats. I'm always going to stick with the Italian vibe, the
Once
Bologna.
again, he's not biased.
I'm not gonna lie, yeah, I'm super biased. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna stick with the Italy situation, but there's some there, like I think maybe Croatia,
Yeah.
the Greece. I don't know about Athens, but the Croatia, Malta is like kind of pulling me. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. I think.
Yeah.
But if you have one that's not on the list, I would love to hear. Like
Yes.
maybe there's an expat watching our.
Or in listening to our
listening
podcast.
to our podcast
Yeah.
and has like a better one that we'd love to share, or
Please.
maybe don't share because you don't want the expats.
True,
to go there.
but just share it for us, and we won't share for the rest of the
You
world.
can tell us, and we won't tell anybody.
Yeah, definitely. But thank you, everyone, for listening and watching. I hope you enjoyed this and got more information about the world. That's what we're here for. We love this and hope it grows. So we appreciate you. Please comment, subscribe, follow, send us love. Be nice to others on the comment section. Y dale que tú puedes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went Miami right there.
Oh, okay.
Love you guys. Cheers.
Ching ching.